3, 2, 1. We are live here Friday night, November 16th on the Anonymous Gambler podcast. I am the Goose, and I am here with my boy Fuhrmy. Fuhrmy, how we doing?
Good, Goose. Thanks for having me. We're loving this. Week 12 already.
Week 12. We're fighting here. I'm at 19 and 14. You're at 17 and 16. It was a tough week last week. Those happen. We're getting ready for bowl season here. Now, the SEC is notorious for having a little bit of a down week here. What's your thoughts heading into this week and then into preparation for rivalry week? I can never say it right. Next week.
I think the SEC in total pretty much rolls this week. A bunch of cupcakes on the schedule. Covering spreads might be a little bit of a tough act with the huge point spreads, but it'll be a good week of football. I'm sure of that.
You know, I was looking at a couple of your picks when you sent them to me, and I couldn't get priority on that, and I apologize. So I'm going to give you the ball here, Fuhrmy, and let's get rolling. Tell us what you're thinking here with your first pick, one that you're going to start the week off well here, hopefully.
All right, so I'm going to take the over. I'm taking a page out of your book.
Woo!
I'm going Middle Tennessee State at Kentucky, over 46.5. I think this game could be a shootout. I know Kentucky's defense is pretty solid, but their offense needs to rebound. And I know Middle Tennessee State's given up some pretty big points throughout the year, but 46.5 is the number. Middle Tennessee State has 48 and 51 in 2 of their last 3 weeks. And I know they're not playing against teams as good as Kentucky's defense, but they have a pretty good offense led by Brett Stockstill, their quarterback. He's very efficient. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot. So I think they're just sort of methodically, they're able to put some points on the board against a pretty good Kentucky defense. And I like that Kentucky's favored by 16. So, I mean, you got to think they're going to win by 2 to 3 touchdowns, or at least be in the ballpark for that. So, I mean, I think this game could be in the 35-20 range-ish, something like that. And then, of course, they cover, and that's a big cover.
Now, what makes you lean towards the offense here for Kentucky when they notoriously do not have a very good passing game? What is it, the non-conference play in the middle here? Is it preparation? Is it the fact that they need to blow this open?
I think it's the latter. They need to blow it open. They've lost 3 of their last 5, and as good as they started, losing 3 of their last 5 is pretty bad. I know they've been against somewhat quality opponents. They lost at A&M. They lost to Georgia, and then I was a little upset last week with their display of offense last week at Tennessee, but they sort of got killed last week. So I think they need to make a statement. Middle Tennessee is respectable. Like they're a decent mid-major. So I think they have to try to work things out on the offensive side and at least hang 30 on them. And that gives me the over. I think if Kentucky breaks 30, I think the over hits.
You know, I watched pretty intently when we were out at Rome's wedding for the Middle Tennessee FAU game, and they came back. I mean, they played the whole game and played tight. So I can't not see them, especially with Stockstill, because I'm not saying he does or doesn't have draft stock. I don't think his season has been that great that he will get drafted, but he may be a free agent pickup. But this is a big game for him. You know what I mean? Going against an SEC opponent, do you think that Middle Tennessee can hang around for a little bit?
I do. I think they can hang. I don't think they're going to move the ball the first couple drives out of the gate against Kentucky's defense, but I do think they're going to hang and stay in the game at least into the third quarter. I don't think Kentucky blows them out by any means. And like I said, he's very efficient. He has 21 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and that's pretty good. Even for a mid-major quarterback. I mean, if he's not turning the ball over, he's going to keep them in the game. You know,
but both teams are bowl eligible at this current point in time. Kentucky's got 7 wins. Middle Tennessee has 7 wins. You know, I got to go the other way for me. I was actually looking at unders, and then I started to get scared. And I'm looking for teams. Again, I look for coaching, and I got burnt on it last week. And usually we talk about what we did well, what we did wrong, and what we couldn't handle. And I'll tell you what, I have no idea what happened to Purdue last week. I can't tell you. Minnesota did their job, Where's Purdue's 24 points? Where's their 27 points on the board that they're used to putting up? Tulane, I bet against them. I thought they looked so horrible. I bet against them. Now, obviously, I did a big tease. I did a 2-unit tease, and this might be a little bit late for people. If you guys follow me on Twitter at @_goose, and the O's or zeros, I'm looking for teams that need a win to get in the bowl game. I don't want to get to rivalry week. I want the bowl win to be secured. And there's a noon game that's caught my eye from watching it last week. It was Minnesota. They are sitting right now at 5-5. They are actually at the bottom of the standings, underneath Illinois, Nebraska, Iowa, because of their conference play. But they're 5-5, while Nebraska's 3-7, Illinois is 4-6, and then you have Indiana and Maryland both sitting at 5-5 in the East Division, while Minnesota's at the bottom. I'm telling you, in the West, I'm telling you, I'm going to row the boat this weekend. I will take Minnesota -2.5. They were originally getting 3. They're at home. There's something going on there. They played well. Their defense was fast. They were all over the field in that snow. That snow started to come down. I cannot see Northwestern hanging in this game. I don't even know if Northwestern is going to do what they're supposed to the following week to get into the Big Ten championship, because Wisconsin is on their heels right now. Something's amiss. I'm going to take the boat. I'm rowing with it. I'm going with Minnesota -2.5 right now. And I might eat crow on it. I might eat crow, but I just think that a team that needs a win at home, that needs to come through, is Minnesota right now. And I'm taking them. Give me them by a field goal for sure, especially considering the fact that they play Wisconsin the following week. If there is a win that this team needs right now, it's against Northwestern, and I don't care if they're ranked or not. So, but transitioning over to your second pick here, Fuhrmy, I'm kind of curious and kind of thinking, what is making you take all these points with a high flying offense in college basketball and an option offense in football?
I know, the Citadel.
The Citadel.
So, I know. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the over in the Citadel-Bama game. Right now it's set at 62.5. Bama is favored by 52. So they're projecting a 53-10-ish game, and I could easily see that happening. So I'm going to go Bama. I don't think the Citadel is going to be able to stop them, of course. The question is when does Saban sort of start pumping the brakes? And I'm hoping that it's 40-0 at halftime, and they sort of coast with their second and third teams, just ending it in the second with another 3 to 4 touchdowns. But I'm just going to try to go with the over. I definitely know Bama can put up 70 themselves. It's just a matter of if Saban wants to do it.
Here's a question for you that I worry about. Does he? You know what I mean? Like, does he want to?
And you're right. I mean, Tua has been banged up, as you know, and I don't think that he's going to be the guy in the second half taking the snaps. But I don't really know if that bothers me. I mean, the Citadel is a 500 team. Those second and third team running backs are still going to score if they're on, if they can walk in the end zone. They're not going to take knees just because Citadel can't stop them. But and to your point, also, Citadel runs triple option. I mean, for what it's worth, they're going to try to milk the clock, but I don't think that that's going to matter either.
Yeah, because they could have a lot of 3-and-outs.
Exactly. I suspect it happening.
I'm gonna dance with who brought me here. Now I understand. So I had a 3-team 9-point teaser that I put on Twitter. It said Houston +1, Texas Tech +3, and Ohio State -5.5. I am going to keep that teaser out there. If you want to take the Golden Gophers on that teaser, and throw it in instead of Houston, I think that's a good play. I totally agree with that, to say, okay, that counts, because I put 2 units on that. But I'll tell you this much, Fuhrmy, and I want to get your thoughts before I get to your last game, because I'm a little bit out of it, because I'm kind of counting those as my picks along with Minnesota. That's my 3. But what are your thoughts if Ohio State covers this 5.5? If I got 100 down, how do you feel about taking Kansas State +6 and having a 10-point middle available to me to try to double up?
Oh, so you like Kansas State?
Do I like Kansas State? No. Actually, to be honest with you, I think this is a must-win for Cliff Kingsbury. We talked about this before we came on. He's signed a contract extension, but that does not guarantee that you won't be fired. That just means that you just have to be bought out. He's there till 2020. He needs this game. He cannot go into next week's game against Baylor, be riding it out again to save his life like he did last year against Texas. A big misconception is that Texas Tech is the rivalry. That's not true. The in-state rivalry for Texas Tech is actually Baylor. Okay? That's the big shootout. That's the big game that they want. So, and I like Matt Rule. To be honest with you, I'll give this one out because I believe in this one too. I like Baylor -2 against TCU. I think Matt Rule is a phenomenal coach. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. I think Gary Patterson has lost the ship. I don't think that this team for TCU, I think they're 4-6 right now. They have to win 2 in a row. I cannot be led to believe that TCU is going to pull this out. I just can't. I think this is a statement game for Baylor at home. I think this, all in all, secures them a bowl game, which would be, again, huge for this I mean, think of where this program has been. Okay, they were sanctioned to the high heavens. They lost all their scholarships, or pretty damn near close to all of them. Okay, there was inner turmoil with this team. A totally different offense has been implemented since Bryles left, and yet this guy is sitting at 5-5 with his losses to Duke, who's really good, Oklahoma, who's really good, Texas, who's good, and West Virginia, who's really good. And then they lost to Iowa State last week, who's really good. I just can't see TCU. I understand, like, everyone's on the Gary Patterson train. Listen, again, he's not playing the game. Give me Baylor all the way, -2 in this game. And you know what? I'll take Cliff Kingsbury, and I don't even know if I want to hedge my bet at that point, because I'm afraid that Texas Tech might try to run up the score, because yours truly was at that Kansas State game last year and watched them blow the lead. It was atrocious with like a 4th-string quarterback. There's no way they let this happen again. They can't. Are they going to win by 6? I'd like to hope so. But are they going to win the game? Texas Tech, yes, they are. You could take a money line. They're sitting at, what is it? What do I got them at right now? Oh my goodness. Okay, well, there was a line change that I have to give you, and this. They're
at 6.5 right now, right?
They're at 6.5 right now. Texas Tech is 6.5. But also, my line screen just flipped, and now Baylor is +1. So there's that TCU money coming in, and I have absolutely and totally no reason or understanding why. I don't understand it for me. Do you? Are you follow any Big 12 at all?
I do. I follow it a little bit. I don't follow Baylor that much because, just like you said, they've sort of been out of the mix the last couple of years with all the sanctions. So I haven't been in touch with them too much, and they've been bottom dwellers the last couple of years in the Big 12.
Yeah. So 80% of the side bets are on Baylor, and 55% of the money is on TCU. I don't care what they're saying. I'm taking Baylor. This is the statement period. I'm putting it on there. As far as Texas Tech is concerned, it is hard for me to come in on anything less than just to say that you could take them straight up. I would like to believe that they can win the -230. It's probably not worth it. Take Baylor instead. And then getting into you, for me, I might even tease this. because you got a 6.5. You going for the half-point hook here. What's going on here with going back to an old favorite here?
All right, so I'm going to go Missouri minus 6.5 at Tennessee. I'm taking the Tigers. And the reason really is they're back to pretty much full strength. Drew Lock was really missing Emmanuel Hall when he was out for about 4 to 5 weeks. He came back 2 weeks ago at Florida. He was huge. He was huge 2 weeks ago at Florida. He played well last week at home against Vandy. They've won 3 out of the last 4 really, and they got sniped by Kentucky 3 weeks ago. Otherwise, they'd be on a 4-game win streak. So I like the Tigers. They're sort of in a must-win to pretty much clinch bowl eligibility. Tennessee has battled back. I mean, they were a pretty bad team the first 3 to 4 weeks, but they won their last 2. They got blown out by Bama, of course, and they lost to South Carolina. But otherwise, I would say 3 out of their last 5 weeks have been pretty solid. But I'm still going Tigers.
Isn't Locke's win percentage against a Power 5 team atrocious?
It is. Well, it has been historically. Winning at Florida was no joke. He completely dominated one of the best defenses in college football. And again, a lot of that was because Emmanuel Hall was back. That guy stretches the field. He can also catch underneath routes and make big plays. So they're a completely different team when he's on the field. It's not even close.
What do you think of that over? Just out of curiosity, does Tennessee open it up at all or no?
I think they tried to. I don't think their offense is that great, honestly. They did hang 24 on Kentucky last week, and obviously Kentucky's a good team defensively. But so I think they can put up 24, but I have no doubt that Missouri can score over 30 and then some.
Okay. I like it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put an over on here because I like it. I've been following them. Give me that over 59 for Nevada and San Jose State. I like the way that Nevada has been playing lately. They have this great little offense that they run. And San Jose State, they just got smoked last week by Utah State. They're not giving up anything less than 52 points in this game. So I would like to believe that San Jose State is good for 21 to put them on the board and keep them in there, keep them not relatively close, but get it over a number that I think should be well into the 60s. So I'm going to throw that one in there. So I'm going to have I'll ride with Baylor +1 right now. I will also ride over 59 for Nevada and San Jose State, and then I will also take that Minnesota -2.5. And then Fuhrmy is going to go with Kentucky, Middle Tennessee State over 46.5, Citadel Bama over 62.5, and Mizzou -6.5 against Tennessee. Now, here's where it comes into play for me. Let's talk some college basketball for Saturday morning. You got any games that you're interested in watching?
I haven't picked any out on the schedule. I have been following some games through the week, and I want to say that I watched most of that Michigan-Nova game, and it was a complete good. And Nova just didn't look in midseason form by any means. They're struggling right now, but it's so early. They lost a lot of talent to the NBA too.
This is one of those times that I love. It's like one of my favorite during Thanksgiving because these kids are playing in Hawaii or Puerto Rico or wherever, and they're playing these opener games, and they're really hard to bet. But they're very, very fun to watch. Michigan right now is -18.5 tomorrow against George Washington. Over-unders at 130.5. From what I can understand and remember from George Washington, they like to slow it down, kind of eat up a lot of the clock. They're kind of a possession team. You have any play, or are you just going to keep an eye on this noon game with Michigan?
I'm just going to keep an eye on it. I think Michigan's such a fundamental team. They just reload and keep. Beeline's a great fundamentals coach. They're really fun to watch, actually. They, backdoor cuts, and they move the ball really well, and they play good, hard-nosed defense. So I think they're going to roll against George Washington, who's winless. But Michigan might surprise some teams in the Big Ten this year.
Well, it would not be the end of a podcast if we didn't talk about both teams that you mentioned because, ironically or unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, Villanova plays Furman tomorrow. So Fuhrmy is getting 16 points, and the over/under is 147.5. This is off the books. Would you take a side or the total?
I'd probably take a side. I'd probably take Nova, but I will say Furman's a pretty good team. I think they're in the Southern.
Only you would know that. Only you would know this.
Yeah, man. I follow them a little bit, of course, just because of the name. By no means am I a fan, but there's a small spot in my heart for them.
So they play. You said they're not bad?
No, they're not bad. I think they're picked to finish like third or fourth in the Southern Conference or something this year.
I gotta get you in this mini Calcutta. The one dude, he was actually in the New York Times about this guy that does the brackets. Do you do that with me?
Well, I'm in one with him. I got one going on with him.
Okay, the one with all the small conferences and everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, pick a team from each conference, but yes.
No, it's the one where you do the whole brackets for the conference tournament.
Oh, I do that too, yeah.
You do that one? Oh, dude, that dude is awesome. What's his name? Brian? Is his name Brian?
Yeah.
Oh, that dude. Shout out to Brian, man. That is an outstanding thing that dude does. He got recognition for that. I told him, I emailed him, like, I read the article. You need to get that posted in your wall. Like, you need to call them and actually get the actual physical print of the article and hang that up and get it posterized or whatever, because he deserves it for what he put into it, because it's awesome. It's awesome.
Phenomenal.
Fermi, you have any other thoughts for Saturday? Are we good here?
We're good, man.
Hey, all right, stay on the line here. Hold on, brother. Hey, listen,
Yep.
That's a little bit of all over the place, a little basketball and a little bit of football here, but we're going to roll right into the final week. One more week to go before we do our big bowl preview. I hope you guys are following us. I see that we're not getting a lot of views, but for those of you who are all watching, that's all that matters. Stick with it, hang with us, keep taking the winners, and ride out some of the losers, and we will talk to you guys next week.